My child, I am asking you to pause. Do not move your hand. Do not let your thumb slide across the glass of your screen to the next distraction. I am reaching through the noise, through the digital static, and through the clutter of your day to find you. You have been scrolling for a long time, searching for a spark of something, peace, hope, or perhaps just a momentary escape from the reality of your own thoughts. But today, I am not a random encounter. I am the one who orchestrated this moment. I have been waiting for you to slow down long enough to hear me. You have felt my nudge before, haven't you? You felt that subtle pull in your chest late last night when the room was dark and the world was finally quiet. You sensed my voice in the silence, but you were afraid of the weight of it, so you rushed past it. You reached for your phone. You turned on the television, or you dived into your work to drown out the sound of my heart seeking yours. Today, I am not whispering from a distance. I am speaking directly into the sanctuary of your soul. Do not click away. Do not half listen while your mind drifts to your to-do list. Lean in. Stay with me until the very end. Because this is not just inspiration. This is a divine invitation. Before this message is finished, you will know exactly what you must do next. I am not rushing you, and I am not raising my voice in anger. But there is a gravity in what I am about to say, a truth you have been avoiding for a very long time. You sense it in the pauses between your frantic thoughts. You feel it in the way your chest tightens. When you stop moving long enough to think deeply, you tell yourself you're just tired. That life is simply overwhelming right now, but you and I both know there is more to it. There is something I have been trying to speak into your heart. Something gentle yet persistent. And it hasn't gone away no matter how many distractions you've piled on top of it. I have been patient with you. I have watched you work, scroll, talk, and laugh. I have seen you fill your days so completely that you don't have to sit still long enough to hear what is rising inside you. I understand why you do that. When you slow down, you start to feel the ache. When everything gets quiet, you become aware of questions you aren't sure you want to face. So you stay busy. You tell yourself you're being productive, responsible, and strong. But deep down, you know you are avoiding me. You aren't running because you don't love me. You are running because you are afraid of what I might say if you truly listen. You are afraid that if you let me speak without interruption, I will ask you to change something you've grown comfortable holding on to. But I am not coming to tear you down. I am coming because I care about you too deeply to let you continue pretending that everything inside you is fine. I see the tension you carry. I see the way you brace yourself emotionally, even when nothing is attacking you. You have grown used to managing life on your own terms, and that independence feels safe, but it has made you distant from me in ways you do not fully admit. I am not offended by your distance. I am concerned for your heart, my child. Let us talk about the silence. You have interpreted my stillness as absence. You have felt the quiet in certain seasons of your life and concluded that I stepped back. You thought I withdrew, that I allowed you to walk through the fire alone. I need you to look at that belief honestly. You built that conclusion slowly, month by month, year by year, through unanswered prayers and delayed outcomes. You remember the nights when you whispered my name and felt nothing move. You remember the mornings when you asked for direction and heard no clear instruction. That quiet unsettled you. It felt like rejection. But you must not confuse quiet with indifference. You must not mistake stillness for neglect. I was not gone. I was working in ways that did not require noise. I was shaping your character in the background of your circumstances. I was building patience inside you, not by punishing you with delay, but by strengthening your inner life where no one else could see. You wanted fireworks, but I was forming foundations. You expected thunder, but I was cultivating roots. There is a profound difference between spectacle and substance. I chose substance for you. Look back carefully at those seasons you labeled as empty. You were not destroyed. You were not abandoned. You were sustained. You woke up each day with enough breath to continue. You had strength. You did not manufacture on your own. You call it survival, but I call it my steady support. I never stopped carrying you. I simply refused to compete with the noise around you. Stop measuring my presence by emotional intensity. Trust that I can be near without being loud. Trust that I can be active without being obvious. You do not need a spectacle to prove my care. You need steadiness. How has your interpretation of my silence affected your trust? I see you bracing yourself, lowering your expectations so you won't feel let down. You convinced yourself that detachment was wisdom, but detachment is just self-defense. I don't want you living in self-defense mode with me. I want you engaged, open, and honest. Even when I don't respond in the way you expect, I am orchestrating things beyond your immediate sight. Trust my heart, even when my voice is quiet. My beloved, come close and admit something you rarely say out loud. You are tired. I'm not talking about the kind of tired that a weekend of sleep can fix. I am talking about a soul-deep fatigue that has settled into your bones. It follows you into quiet rooms. It sits with you at the dinner table. You carry more than you let others see. You manage the expectations of your family, your workplace, and your friends. You have become the dependable one, the steady, reliable pillar that everyone else leans on. And yet, when the door closes and you are finally alone, you feel the crushing weight of the world on your chest. I see the way your shoulders tighten when the phone rings. I see how your thoughts keep running long after the day is done, scanning for problems to solve and risks to mitigate. You call it stress or adulthood. But beneath it all, there is a dangerous belief that everything depends on you. You have been strong for so long that you forgot what it feels like to rest without a sense of guilt. You feel like if you stop for even a moment, the entire structure of your life will collapse. But listen to me. You were never designed to live in constant tension. You are not meant to survive on pressure and performance. You were created for peace, not perpetual strain. I am not asking you to abandon your responsibilities, but I am asking you to release the illusion that you are the one holding the world together. Come to me honestly. Stop pretending you're fine. Tell me where you feel stretched thin. Tell me where you feel unseen. You don't have to impress me with your resilience. I already know your limits. Pause right now. Take a slow, deep breath. Feel the tension you have normalized in your neck and your back. Bring it to me. Do not minimize it. Do not compare it to the struggles of others. Simply acknowledge it. Your weariness matters to me. I am inviting you into a different rhythm, one where you stop running on fumes and start receiving strength from me. You aren't my employee. You are my child. I don't evaluate you based on your productivity. I cherish you for who you are. Rest is not a luxury. It is an act of obedience. There is a pattern in your life, my child, that we must examine. You have learned to calm your discomfort with distraction. Whenever your thoughts grow heavy, or whenever the quiet becomes too loud, you reach for something immediate. You scroll through the lives of strangers. You fill your ears with noise. You keep conversations going long after they should have ended. You schedule every minute of your day so there is no gap for silence to enter. You tell yourself you're unwinding. You call it relaxing. But you and I both know the difference between healthy rest and avoidance. You feel it when the screen goes dark. The same unsettled feeling returns, often heavier than before. That feeling is not your enemy. It is a signal. It is your soul asking for my attention. You keep trying to soothe it with surface solutions, but the ache remains because the source is deeper than a screen can reach. I am not criticizing you for seeking relief. I understand that life is intense and emotions can be overwhelming, but distraction is a temporary cover, not a cure. It quiets the noise for a second, but it does not address the wound. I want something deeper for you. I want you to experience a peace that doesn't require constant stimulation to exist. Real peace grows in the soil of stillness and connection. I am asking you to examine your habits. Notice the moment you instinctively reach for your phone. Pause. Ask yourself, what am I trying to escape right now? Be curious about your own heart. Bring that curiosity to me. You may discover grief you never processed. You may find fears you buried under layers of activity. You may realize you've been lonely in ways you didn't want to admit. Do not run from those discoveries. I am right here. I am not overwhelmed by your emotions. I am inviting you into a deeper calm, one that remains steady even when the external world is noisy. My child, there are questions inside you that you have never voiced. They circle your mind at midnight. They surface when you see the brokenness of the world or the unfairness of your own circumstances. You push them down because you think strong faith doesn't ask, why? You've been taught that questioning me is a sign of weakness or disrespect. So you present me with polished religious prayers while your heart is full of raw confusion. I want you to stop filtering yourself. I hear the tremor in your spirit, even when your words are carefully arranged. You wonder why that door closed. You wonder why that person walked away. You wonder why the healing didn't come when you expected it to. You even wonder if you misunderstood my guidance. I am not threatened by your questions. I am not a fragile authority figure who collapses under inquiry. I am your father. Stop protecting me from your honesty. Wrestling with me is not a sign of doubt. It is a sign of engagement. You wouldn't wrestle with someone you didn't care about. Bringing your raw questions to me is an act of intimacy. Tell me what confuses you. Tell me where you feel disappointed. I am listening without defensiveness. You don't need to dress up your prayers. If you are frustrated, tell me. If you feel let down, say it. I am steady in my love for you, even when you are unsettled. Sometimes the act of asking reshapes you before the answer even arrives. When you bring your uncertainty to me instead of burying it, your heart softens. You may not receive a detailed explanation for every event in your life, but I will give you something steadier. I will give you my presence, and my presence will carry you further than information ever could. Trust is not blind optimism. It is relational confidence. It grows as you experience. My steadiness over time. Stop trying to be polite with me and start being real. My beloved, you revisit your past far more often than you admit. You replay the old conversations in your mind, imagining what you could have said differently. You reconsider the major decisions of your life, wondering where you would be if you had only taken the other path. Regret has become a quiet, persistent companion in your thoughts. Whenever your present feels uncertain, your mind drifts backward, searching for the moment where you believe everything went wrong. You tell yourself that if you had acted sooner, or spoken more wisely, or trusted more deeply, your life would be better now. This narrative feels logical. It feels responsible to analyze your mistakes. But analysis has slowly turned into accusation. You are harsher with yourself than you realize. You interpret past mistakes as permanent disqualifications. You look at your current limitations and assume they are a direct punishment for decisions you cannot undo. Listen to me. Your past is not a prison. I have been working within your story from the very beginning. Even your missteps have been woven into a larger design. This does not mean every choice was ideal, but it means I am not limited by your imperfection. Stop treating your past as an unchangeable verdict over your future. It is a chapter, not the conclusion. I am the God of the new beginning. I am creative, and I can restore, redirect, and redeem. But you must cooperate with that redemption. You must release your grip on self-condemnation. Let go of the constant rewind button in your mind. Choose forward movement. You are not beyond restoration. You are not behind in a way that disqualifies you from my purpose. I am still writing your story. Trust me enough to look ahead with hope instead of backward with accusation. The version of you that made those mistakes is not the version of you that stands before me today. You have grown. You have matured. Stop judging your present self by your past limitations. There is something heavier than regret, my child, and it is shame. Not loud, dramatic shame, but the quiet, persistent variety that whispers to you in the moments between tasks. It lingers beneath your confidence. It surfaces when you compare your life to others. You feel slightly disqualified, slightly less worthy, slightly wrong. You interpret your struggles as evidence that something is fundamentally flawed in you. I need you to hear me clearly. Your worth is not fragile. It is not dependent on a flawless performance. I do not relate to you through a scorecard. I do not evaluate you based on your worst day. You have allowed shame to distort your perception of my heart. You imagine I am disappointed in you more often than I actually am. You project your inner critic onto my character, and that projection has created an unnecessary distance between us. Shame convinces you to hide. It tells you to clean yourself up before you come closer. It whispers that you must earn back the love that was never revoked. I am not asking you to earn anything. I am asking you to receive. When you stumble, I do not withdraw my affection. When you struggle, I do not reduce my care. I see the full picture of your life, the silent battles, the sincere desires, and the small steps of progress that no one else notices. Stop agreeing with the voice that tells you you are fundamentally lacking. Challenge that voice. When shame rises, counter it with the truth. I am loved. I am chosen. I am seen. Do not let shame dictate your identity. You are more than your inconsistencies. You are a work in progress, and I am the master craftsman. Step out of hiding and into honest connection. You don't need to shrink in my presence. Stand fully as you are, and let my grace cover what you cannot fix on your own. My child, you have learned to grip your life with very tight hands. You call it wisdom or being proactive. But beneath the careful planning, there is a deep-seated fear. You plan. You anticipate every possible outcome. You rehearse conversations in your head before they happen, and you prepare for problems before they even arrive. You think that if you do not manage everything, your entire world might fall apart. I see how much pressure this places on you. I see how your thoughts rarely rest because you are always scanning the horizon for the next thing that could go wrong. You are carrying a weight that was never assigned to you. You are not the architect of the universe. You were never meant to live in a state of constant calculation, constantly measuring risk and rehearsing responses. This tight grip has become exhausting for you. It has created a tension in your body and a restlessness in your spirit. I am asking you to loosen your grip. Trust doesn't mean passivity. It means releasing the illusion that you must carry the entire blueprint alone. When you try to control every variable, you end up a prisoner to your own anxiety. You struggle to enjoy the present moment because your mind is busy negotiating a future that hasn't even arrived yet. I am asking you to hand me the blueprint. Not because you are incapable, but because I see farther than you do. Release the burden of having to foresee every twist in the road. You don't have to prepare for every possible disappointment. Say to me, I cannot control everything, and I do not need to. Let those words sink in. Trust my oversight more than your own anxiety. When uncertainty arises, instead of spiraling into overanalysis, turn toward me. You will discover that when you loosen your grip, your mind grows clearer and your heart grows lighter. You are not alone in managing your life. I am actively involved, guiding outcomes in ways you cannot always trace. My child, we must talk about the way you minimize your own pain. When something hurts you, you quickly compare it to someone else's suffering. You conclude that yours doesn't matter, or that you shouldn't feel this way because others have it worse. You think you are being humble or grateful, but often you are simply dismissing your own heart. Pain is not a competition. It does not require comparison to be legitimate. I see the way you downplay what affected you. I see how you brush off harsh words, broken expectations, and unmet needs. You act as though resilience requires silence, but suppressed pain doesn't disappear. It just moves into the deep places of your body. It influences your reactions and shapes your perspective. When you do not acknowledge your hurt, it quietly hardens you. I do not want you hardened. I want you healed. And healing begins with honesty. Stop telling yourself that your feelings are exaggerated. If something hurt you, it hurt you. That matters to me. I am the great physician, but I cannot tend to a wound that you are trying to hide. Bring the raw hurt to me. Do not justify it. Do not dress it up. Simply say, "This hurt me." Allow yourself to grieve what didn't go the way you hoped. You are not being weak by doing so. You are being honest. And honesty opens the door for restoration. I am not a God who rushes you past your pain. I don't tell you to get over it. I sit with you in the ashes. I gently reshape your understanding. Over time, the sharpness will soften, but only if you stop silencing your heart to appear strong. Your pain matters because you matter to me. My beloved, there is a tender place in your heart that we need to visit. You long to be loved deeply, yet you often retreat when love moves too close. You crave connection, yet when someone begins to see you clearly, something inside you stiffens. You become cautious. You measure your words. You protect your vulnerabilities like they are secrets that would disqualify you if they were known. You call this wisdom, but much of the time, it is fear. You are afraid that if someone sees the furthest whole of you, your doubts, your inconsistencies, and your hidden struggles, they will step back. So, you step back first. You manage distance carefully. You offer warmth, but you keep your core protected. I understand why you do this. You were hurt before. You opened yourself and felt exposed. You trusted and felt disappointed. That history has taught you to build walls. But those walls have limited your experience of love. They keep pain out, but they also keep depth out. I did not design you for guarded living. I designed you for connection. When you hold back emotionally from others, you often hold back spiritually from me. You approach me with a sense of composure, as if you must maintain an image even in the presence of your Creator. Let that go. I already see you fully. I am not startled by your complexity or unsettled by your flaws. You are safe with me. When you learn to receive my love without flinching, you will find the courage to receive love from others. Notice your reflexes. Notice when you withdraw. Ask yourself, what am I protecting? Bring that fear to me. You don't have to live emotionally armored. Open your heart a little wider. Risk honesty. You are not as fragile as your fear suggests. There is a quiet longing in you, my child, that you rarely name. It surfaces in unexpected moments when you're driving alone, when you're watching a sunset, or when you sit in the silence and feel an ache you cannot explain. You push it aside quickly, telling yourself you should be content. You remind yourself of your responsibilities. You convince yourself that longing is dangerous because it leads to disappointment. But that longing is not a flaw. It is a signal. It is a sacred restlessness that points to something deeper than your daily routine. I placed it in you. It is a compass, not a curse. It nudges you when you settle for less than what aligns with your true calling. It stirs when you drift into complacency. It awakens when you begin to live on autopilot. Do not suppress it out of fear. Examine this longing with me. What does it reveal about your heart? You may discover it isn't about external change at all, but about deeper connection, clearer purpose, or more authenticity. Loneliness and restlessness can be uncomfortable, but avoiding them only prolongs internal tension. You cannot permanently silence a call that originates from your core. Instead of resisting the pull, lean toward it. Ask yourself, what do I truly desire beneath the surface? Not what looks impressive, but what resonates with your spirit. Bring those desires to me without embarrassment. I am not surprised by them. I want to shape them with wisdom. You don't need to make impulsive decisions, but you do need to explore your longings. I will guide you toward alignment. You are not meant to merely exist. You are meant to engage fully with the life I have given you. Think back to the seasons of your life when you felt invisible. You showed up, you worked hard, you contributed, and still it seemed as though others were recognized while you remained in the background. You watched doors open for people who didn't seem to work harder than you. You tried to be gracious, but quietly, you wondered if I had forgotten you. I was there. I saw your composed expression when someone else was celebrated. I saw your private disappointment. You longed to be seen. And that doesn't make you shallow. It makes you human. But I need you to understand. Being overlooked in a season does not mean being forgotten in your story. Delay is not denial. While you were watching others move ahead, I was strengthening you in ways that visibility could not provide. I was refining your motives. I was building a character that would sustain you when the spotlight finally arrived. Roots grow in the hidden soil. They don't require applause. And strong roots matter more than sudden recognition. Stop measuring your value by who notices you. Every faithful step, every quiet act of integrity, every unseen sacrifice, I have recorded them all. I do not reward performance. I honor perseverance. Your timeline is not defective. It is deliberate. Lift your head. You are not invisible. You are in preparation. If I had given you the platform before you had the character, the platform would have destroyed you. Use this time to grow deep. When the moment is right, I will open the door and you will walk through it with a steadiness that was forged in the dark. My child, you have a habit of underestimating yourself. You look at your struggles and conclude that you are fragile. You focus on your doubts and assume they define you. You compare your internal battles to someone else's outward composure and decide that you are weak. But I see something different when I look at you. I see endurance. Strength is not always a loud, visible victory. Much of your strength has been invisible. It showed up in your decision to get out of bed when discouragement was heavy. It showed up in your choice to remain kind when bitterness felt justified. It showed up in your willingness to keep believing even when you had no clarity. You call those moments survival, but I call them sacred. You have walked through seasons that could have hardened you completely, yet you are still here, still listening, still seeking. That is resilience. Stop reducing yourself to your worst days. Look at your history honestly. Notice how many challenges you have survived. Notice how many times you adapted and kept moving. That strength didn't come from nothing. It grew from within you, supported by my presence. Vulnerability is not the same as fragility. You can feel deeply and still be strong. You can admit uncertainty and still be resilient. I am proud of your progress, not because you are flawless, but because you are responsive. Stand a little taller. Stop narrating your life through a lens of deficiency. You are stronger than you think, and I am strengthening you daily for the path ahead. There have been moments, my child, when you felt me drawing you closer and you resisted. I am not saying this to accuse you, but to help you understand your heart. You sensed a pull toward deeper surrender, and instead of leaning in, you stepped back. You distracted yourself. You told yourself it wasn't the right time. I understand why you hesitated. You were afraid. When I draw you closer, I don't just comfort you. I also refine you. And refinement feels vulnerable. It uncovers attachments you aren't ready to release. It challenges the version of yourself you have grown comfortable maintaining. You worried that surrender would cost you too much. But, my child, my love for you didn't change because you turned away. I stayed near. I waited with patience. The longer you delay surrender, the heavier your internal conflict becomes. You felt it, the restlessness, the dissatisfaction, the sense that there is more, but you are holding back. I am speaking to that tension right now. Do not run from it again. Stay present. I am not here to strip you of joy. I am here to align you with freedom. Surrender is not about losing your identity. It is about discovering who you were meant to be. When you stop running, the friction inside you will cease. You will no longer have to compartmentalize your life, hiding certain areas from my gaze. Surrender simplifies your life. It aligns your heart. Stop turning away when you sense my nudge. It isn't pressure. It is love guiding you home. Come forward this time. Stay with the discomfort until the transformation begins. You will not regret leaning in. My child, there is a quiet, heavy standard you hold over yourself. You measure your progress against timelines you created. You evaluate your maturity by expectations you absorbed from others. You tell yourself that, by now, you should have figured more out. You think you should be further ahead spiritually, emotionally, or professionally. This constant self-evaluation is exhausting you. It keeps you from appreciating the ground you have already covered. You assume growth must be dramatic to be meaningful, but much of your growth has been gradual. You have become more patient in ways you don't celebrate. You have become more reflective. You have responded with restraint in situations where you once would have reacted impulsively. Those changes matter. You are not a project to be rushed. You are a soul being shaped over time. Time is not your enemy. I am not standing over you with a stopwatch. I am walking with you at a pace that develops depth, not just speed. Release the demand for immediate mastery. Extend to yourself the same grace you offer to others. Stop narrating your life as if you are perpetually behind. Self-compassion does not lead to complacency. It leads to stability. When you are constantly critical, you create a tension that drains your energy. I want you to pursue growth from a place of security, not from a fear of inadequacy. Do not chase improvement to prove you are enough. Pursue it because you are already valued and you want to steward your potential. Trust my pace. Trust my timing. You are not late. You spend a great deal of time in imagined futures, my child. You run scenarios in your head, picturing conversations that haven't happened yet. You anticipate outcomes before there is even evidence for them. You call it preparation, but often it is just anxiety disguised as wisdom. You rehearse potential disappointments as if bracing yourself will soften their impact. In doing so, you exhaust yourself before anything has even happened. I see how your chest tightens when you think about what might go wrong. But constant projection into the future steals your present peace. It pulls you away from what is in front of you. Come back to now. Breathe. You are not in the disaster you imagined. You are here, and I am with you. The future you fear has not arrived. Do not punish yourself for events that haven't happened. You are not required to solve tomorrow's problems today. I hold tomorrow. I understand outcomes you cannot foresee. When you try to manage the future through overanalysis, you are trying to carry what belongs to me. Release it. Say to yourself, I will face that when it comes. You will not be given tomorrow's strength today. You will receive it when you need it. Look at your past. When challenges arose, you found a capacity you didn't know you had. The same will be true moving forward. You don't need to preload every scenario. You need to trust that I will meet you in the moment. Redirection requires discipline. Choose to stay present. Loosen your grip on imagined outcomes and live fully where you stand. We have walked through the depths of your heart, my child. We have looked at your fears, your tired soul, your regrets, and your longings. And now, I am asking you once more, will you finally hear me out? Will you let the noise of the world grow dim and let my love be the loudest voice in your life? I am not presenting you with condemnation, but with clarity. You have heard my heart. You have recognized my hand in your story. Now, you stand at a crossroads. You can continue living as you have been, partially open, frequently distracted, and quietly exhausted, or you can choose something deeper. Awareness without action slowly fades into another abandoned intention. Don't let this moment dissolve into abstraction. What is your next step? Not your entire future, just the next step. Identify one concrete area of your life where you will respond differently. It may be committing to consistent time with me. It may be addressing a conversation you've avoided. It may be releasing a habit that hinders you. Whatever it is, move intentionally. I am not asking you to perfect yourself in a day. I am asking you to choose alignment today. My heart toward you has never shifted, not on your worst day, and not in your seasons of distance. My love is not fragile. It doesn't shrink when you struggle. I am not reluctantly tolerating you. I delight in you. Step into the security of my grace. Stop negotiating your worth in your own mind. You are loved, you are cherished, and you are guided. Come home, my precious one. The door is open. The light is on. I have been waiting for this moment since before you were born. Stop running. Surrender isn't losing, it's finally winning. It's letting your Creator take the lead. I am your God, and I am for you. Step into my presence and never look back. You are finally where you belong. Amen.